What's up guys, welcome to today's video. Today is technically the day after clutch kickers, so even though you're seeing this pretty late in the future, I'm a little bit ahead on videos. We got some stuff going on today between the giveaway chaser and the E36, but first off, I gotta show you guys the JZX. Jeff from Cess Garage came in over the weekend and he did a full polish and coating on it, and it came out insane. I knew that the car's paint was good, I had no idea it was this good. It cleaned up perfectly. I don't know if you guys remember, I'll see if Mike can put in a clip of all the hazing and swirls and everything, but this car looks so glossy now. And in the sun, in the light, absolutely no surface hazing, swirling, light scratches. It looks absolutely crazy. I think this is one of the nicest paint jobs on any car that I own currently. And it kind of sucks because it's probably gonna be going to one of you guys. I guess that's a good thing too. But the depth in this paint is wild. Basically getting this car ready since we're bringing it with us to be on display at Formula Drift Atlanta. So some of you guys will end up seeing it there. This video is brought to you by AG1 by Athletic Greens. It's a nutritional drink that's been helping me simplify my daily health routine. It's got 75 different ingredients, including vitamins, minerals, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. AG1 helps with a lot, but for me, the most important two are immunity and energy. On the immunity side, AG1 has vitamin C, zinc, and healing mushrooms built into it that help support immunity. Traveling a lot, I'm always nervous about getting sick, especially going to events, so it's nice to have that peace of mind. There's absolutely no compromises with AG1, and it is indeed NSF certified for sport. Vegan, paleo, and keto friendly, and best of all, it's convenient. 8 ounces of water, 1 scoop or 1 travel packet every day, and that's it. I like the taste. It's got like pineapple, vanilla, I don't even know how to explain it. You guys can go to athleticgreens.com/AdamLZ and you can get started on your order. Athletic Greens is gonna give you guys a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Athletic Greens is a really cool company. I've got half the compound using AG1 now, and I'm excited to see what you guys think of it. Head over to the description for more info, and I wanna give AG1 a massive thank you for sponsoring this video. Now back to the content. After the big win at Clutch Kickers, I've seen a lot of you guys commenting about the hot tub. If you remember last year, my motivation, well, I don't want to say my motivation, but one of my things was if I won, I was gonna buy a hot tub with the 10 Gs. That is the first place prize from Clutch Kickers. Now the compound actually comes with a hot tub. We got it working. It's not like the most baller thing. It's kind of old and in the ground and really uncomfortable, but I think what mentally I'm gonna put that money towards is something more exciting in the bigger picture. So if you look in here, we have the fab area, and then we have the offices, and then over there we have the paint bay. So a lot of dust has been coming through here. So what I want to do is permanently leave this door open and kind of enlarge in the shop to encompass the fab area, which will have some like pull down curtains, but these floors are kind of gross and beat up and won't look nice when we have the shop door open. So it's kind of expensive, but I've really been wanting to do polished concrete, both in here, all in this area, through here, and in all the offices. The carpet just keeps on getting ruined from the toilets backing up, and it just doesn't look the greatest, but it was really cheap at the time being. So I think this whole job is somewhere around 15 grand to do, but it's something I've been really wanting to do and keep on putting off. But opening the shop up all this more will give us so much more room, and it'll be a lot easier working in the fab area when we can just pull a car through here versus opening and closing and dealing with no AC in this section, since this section will become all AC'd like the shop. Super quick update on my first car, the E36 project. I'm lining stuff up so I can make a really cool series and I really dive into that car and do a lot at once. And I've got a bunch of new OE parts coming in from FCP Euro, some huge packages. And I've been starting to amass the used stuff too, like this ZHP kit right here. I'm hoping after Formula Drift Atlanta, I'll have everything lined up so I can jump into that project, but it's certainly not something that's getting pushed on the back burner because I'm planning to have it displayed at FD Orlando, looking exactly like I had it back in the prime. Pulled the front bumper off the car, planning to give it the old LZ splitter treatment, which I'll walk you guys through. But one thing I did notice, it was held on both corners self-tappers. I don't like that because with fiberglass it can strip it out and then you get a flat tire because the self-tapper goes in the tire. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drill the holes out a little bit bigger and put 10 mil bolts and washers in instead. But I'm gonna take this thing over and see if we have enough ABS here to make some splitters for it. Literally just enough on this sheet left. We get it at the local plastic supply store, and works pretty well for making splitters because they hold up to quite a bit of abuse, and also protect if you have anything that you hit on a drift track or something, protects the fiberglass from getting damaged, and the splitter usually takes most of the hit. Take a piece of cardboard, I use this as a gauge, I measure my thickness on this, and then I'll poke a Sharpie through here, like so, and then I'll just take this and I'll run it down the whole edge of the bumper. And just like that, we've got a beautiful template for making a front splitter. Then usually we can use the rear scraps to make 2 little side spats too. My tool of choice is a jigsaw, but part of that's just because I got really used to making skate ramps with this and cutting radiuses. But this is a new thing that I just started using, and that's the brushless, cordless ones, which is way nicer than having a cord that you got strapped over your neck or whatever. And then I can usually get a pretty good arc with this where I don't need to clean it up too much. You just gotta really pay attention to what you're doing. Your boy's even got heat wave safety glasses. Yo, check it out. So usually some tires that you have laying around will make a good little stand for this. It's kind of annoying to do on a table because it moves around. When I'm one person, usually using tires helps that. You like my cut, G? One of the most important things with this, it's kind of like drifting in a competition during qualifying. If you're offline, you don't want to make a big correction. You're better off just staying offline. That's the same tip I give with this. If you're a little offline, just stay with it and commit. You can get a nice arc, because if you got to clean this thing up, you're going to drive yourself crazy. But I think it's pretty good. It's better than some of my other work. What do you think? You approve?
It's getting better, yeah.
Yeah. I used to be a G at this, because I used to do it all the time, but then I started having, yeah, you and Marco doing it, so I got to clean up my act a little, yeah. You know? Yep. I'm pretty happy with it though. I don't need a debird or anything, and it's a little mild when you guys see it. It's not as wild as my usual splitters, but street car, right?
Yeah, no GTC racing, nothing like that.
No, none of that.
None of that.
Not super in your face, but I like the little layer of depth that it gives the bumper. Gives a nice little pizzazz, if you will. The one of my other chasers like that sticking out far, and I think it'll look a little crazy on this car. And for the side splitters, I usually just do a straight line to make my life easy. I use a circular saw. Gotta also lace the chaser up with the new standard that all the cars get, the Type S FD Pro Series LED kit. Same one we run on FD cars and same one I've been putting on all my cars. It's for sure the nicest kit on the market, the most comprehensive, the easiest to install, you name it. Beautiful presentation, easy to follow instructions, and they're super durable. And of course, we keep them in stock at lzmfg.com if you guys are interested in a set. Link is always in the description. This thing's actually extremely clean underneath, apart from that exhaust, of course. Johan's doing a quick bushing test, and it looks like we're gonna be needing to order some diff bushing, so.
Yeah, the whole suffering is like flexing just from that corner.
Very typical JZX thing, so we'll hit up the boys over at Serial 9, they got all the goodies. Also, the conversion bushing, so we can add an extra diff bushing here. It's kind of like a go-to, must-do thing on the conversion. Another common bushing to go out on JZXs is the tension rod bushing, so you can see all of the toe change that you get. It's usually under braking or like whenever you're loading and unloading the front. Super common. They make pillow ball ones that you can convert to, but they're super expensive, so a lot of times just getting the OE ones is the best route. Looks like we'll do some engine mounts too, Johan. What do you think?
Yeah. When you're drifting.
Usually the go-to spot on the front of the cars is on the intercooler for me. I think I've also done it on the radiator. The reason being, if you put it on the bumper, when you see the edge of the LED light, it looks super tacky. So you always want to have it slightly recessed. So I usually do the intercooler on the front, and on the side, usually you can end up sticking it somewhere like right in this region. You'll get a nice haze without being able to see it from the side. I mentioned in the Clutch Kickers video that we'd be doing an E36 health check. There's a decent break between rounds, so after the abuse that it went through, I wanted to take a look and make sure everything's still healthy. One thing that I didn't mention in the Clutch Kickers video, I gotta give a massive shout out to this little Optima battery here. Because as you guys saw, I lost my belt, which on a JZ, not only is power steering, is water pump and is alternator. And that battery kept the car running for an entire lap and even was able to start the car after I turned it off at grid. So If we had a small little battery or a battery that couldn't hold up to the abuse of drifting, definitely would not have been the case. I watched the air-fuel ratio and some of the footage playing it back, and it looks like the table and everything that Jimmy had set up compensated adequately. So even though voltage was down, it looked like there was no lean events. However, we're now diving into a leak down test right now. We didn't have a baseline prior to this round, so who knows, since this motor's been through, I think, 1 full season of FD, maybe like 1.5 full seasons of FD, I think. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, I can remember.
It gets confusing.
It ended, so it was rounds 8 air window. We put it in, then we took it out, and then we switched to the 3.0. So it was 1 event and then a whole season of
clutch kickers last year.
Yep.
So she's seen some abuse. Johan's got the compression numbers over here, which aren't too terrible. We start to lose off a little bit towards the back of the motor. And the leak down test, though, is looking a little bit drastic on cylinder number 5. Now, where's the air coming out of?
It's hard to hear, but it's coming out of the dipstick.
Which would mean rings?
Yeah.
It's right at that point.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna spin the motor to make sure that I'm not in a spot where the valve can might be slightly open, but it's coming out of here, which tells me it's not a valve, it's rings.
Yeah.
So call a scientist or something and do science and fix it.
Who knows?
It's right on the brink of being low.
He was able to get it a little bit lower just by turning the motor over.
So this is what we're looking at. I guess we come up with a plan now and see what to do.
We plan to pull the motor and trans and do a health check regardless, but it's seeming like the best plan of attack is to pull the head once the motor's out. That will tell us instantly whether we had a head gasket issue from overheating it a bunch, and if there's no black imprints or marks or signs that the head is lifted, it's most likely a ring issue, which we still have adequate time to get a bottom end refresh.
That's a cool thing. We got plenty of time to round 2. So we could, take our time, get everything squared away, go through the transmission, open and check it, be 100% ready for round 2 and just keep that momentum going into round 2. And it's a good thing we did that now. We didn't wait it or didn't cache it, because then it could definitely be a problem in round 2. We're looking into the power steering setup. A lot of you guys, a lot of people that worked with us in the past sent recommendations. And so we're gonna try to see what's easier available and what's easier to work with, and then make a call on that. So that should be taken care of for round 2. No more slinging belts.
And a lot of people are saying to go electric power steering or electric water pump. Electric power steering, it's something that we haven't done before, and we tend to have pretty good luck with belt driven. So like, I'd rather stay belt if we can.
Yeah.
But the electric water pump is pretty neat. I'd consider.
And there is an option to run the OEM style Mercier's water pump if we could have planned for that on the harness. We still could add it. It'd just be something else added to the car. I have to double check with the person that did the harness, see if there was added revisions for that. It is on a higher amperage output, so I don't think there'll be any additional ones out here. But the hydraulic pump, JC1, ever since we ran the hydraulic adjuster pressure valve on it, it's been pretty dialed. This pump has done, quite a lot of events without us having to change it. So I think we got that part of the system figured out. It's just now the belt.
Yep.
Johan was just showing me this is the
back hurts. Don't do it.
Johan was just showing me this is the brace that they came up with to get me through top 4. To basically, the power steering pulley flexes, and then that's what slings belts, or so we're theorizing.
Yeah. So when you delete the AC system on the any JCs, you're taking away one major support spot. So there's a support from the back of the pump, which is not enough when you do that. We still have an adjustable rod with Heims on the bottom, but it's not enough. So for top 4, we got through those battles because we had no choice. We just had to come up with something quick, and at this point, we were throwing the belts on the second run, so we were able to get it through the battle. So we put that on, and then for top 4, we were good. We didn't throw a belt, and I'm guessing just because of that, it didn't have enough movement to move further or back. So, but we're not gonna count on that for the rest of the season.
All right, so I'm kind of viewing this as stage 1 of the JZX100 giveaway, where we're just focusing on the aesthetics. This car is going to be going to Formula Drift Atlanta. We're going to have it on display. We're going to have a whole merch setup up there. So I want the car looking as close as it can to its final form. It obviously won't have the big turbo setup. That'll be something we'll be doing when we get back. But the one missing piece to make this thing up to my standard as a chaser is seats. Now these right here, they didn't used to be the most expensive seats in the world, but if you guys are a fan of confettis, you know now people are taxing for these things. And I happen to have these two that I've been hoarding for a while. They're not the cleanest seats in the world, but they're pretty dang good. I'd say overall I would rate them, this one's probably like an 8 or a 9 out of 10, and this one's probably like maybe a 7 out of a 10. Has a little bit of like an indentation here. I think that one actually came out of my JZX 100 in Japan. And then this one I've had, I think I got online a bit ago. Sometimes it's harder for me to give out parts from my hoard than it is to get new parts. So I'm putting these in the car because I want them to be comfortable. And it'll look good. The stock seats are cool, but this is the JDM spec chaser to me is the Recaro Confettis. And then I've got a set of brand new Bride seat rails that I just got in. These are legit, whether you have side mount seats or bottom mount seats, they just bolt in. It makes everything so much easier. Seats will bolt right to this. They'll go in and it'll probably take all of 30 minutes to put in and completely transform the look of the interior on this car. Got all the brackets and stock seatbelt stuff mounted up. The Bride rails come with a nice little kit for the seatbelts, so you can put them in here, they can still actuate, but they're locked down. If you aren't familiar with these seats, they are reclinable and adjustable with these knobs here, but it should just be a simple bolt-in affair, and these things are gonna look sick. I got the seats in, but the final touch, this thing needs floor mats. So I actually have a set of matching floor mats to what I just got from my white chaser that I haven't even shown you guys yet. Having floor mats that are for a different car, like universal ones, are pet peeve of mine because they get caught under the pedal and stuff. So these are made for JZX 100. These are actually G Corp, and I like them because it's a nice subtle kind of like gray checker mark. It's nothing too crazy in your face, and they fit perfectly. Got the heel pad, and then it even has a little hook here to make sure it can't slide forward. Then the back also snaps into this middle drape piece, which is kind of cool too. Would you look at that? All tidy. Another common question I get about the JZX chassis, everyone always thinks that these guys are aftermarket, but the car actually comes factory with this cool carbon stuff. The problem is the clear over time yellows and peels and flakes, but you can actually sand them down, re-clear them, and make them look good as new. So I'll need to be doing that on this, but I won't have time to do that today. Anyway, here's a final look. The interior, I'll have to have Mike film some better B-rolls because this camera isn't doing it justice, but it looks sick. Even though the giveaway is already launched, today is the launch day, so we've been working a lot on the computers. We actually switched over to a whole new platform. If you didn't notice, the site's much different. This is also your reminder, every $5 you spend will get you entered for a chance to win that beautiful red JZX 100 that you've seen earlier in this video. Randy got some paint laid on the Ganadors, but I don't think they're gonna be dry in time for Formula Drift Atlanta, so you guys won't see those until I'm back. Johan the Madman already got the motor out and almost fully stripped down. You guys aren't gonna see us pull the head off in this video, but we are gonna pull it off, inspect, and then this motor is going to engine Mike.
Engine Mike. He's just gonna go through it and see what needs to be changed or looked at and clean it up, and hopefully he has bearings already over there. These are brand new bearings, but he has bearings. The only concern he has is just the pistons. So if we need pistons, he wants to get a jump on that to make sure that we have them in time. And just keep it, same thing, we're not gonna change anything, just pretty much to give it an overhaul. Yep. And put it back in.
Jamie's logic was maybe because the 250-degree coolant was sitting around the cylinders for so long that it might have warped the sleeves a little bit, and that could be where the compression is being lost, in which case a hone and a fresh set of rings might be enough. In other news, my fresh shipment of rays came in. You can see I got some more 57DR gram lights. These are gloss black. Not the biggest fan of black wheels, but the gloss does look really nice, and I think it'll complement the livery well. And then over here, I've been getting the side-by-side ready because we are going to Hyperfest. If you guys don't have your tickets for Hyperfest yet, make sure you go and get them. I'm gonna be driving the RTR setup, but some of the boys are gonna be up there, and I'm bringing the side-by-side so I can have some fun with it. I just got the new Nitto trail grapplers on here. The other tires that were on here got a little smoked from doing burnouts and drifting around at the compound. And I rode on these when I was in West Virginia with Vaughn, and they made the side-by-side so much more fun on the off-road setup. So stoked to try these out. I don't know if this is a long video, short video, whatever, but I am off to Formula Drift Atlanta. We have the AutoZone meet that's going down on my birthday, but I guess that already happened since it's the day after that. And we'll have some videos from FD, and then when we get back, I'm hoping I'm able to dive into some more stuff with the R32 and start working on my E36. Got a bunch of parts coming in, and I'm super excited to dive into that, and I hope you guys are too. I'll see you soon, and I hope you enjoyed this video.